super, super excited for all of you guys to join us this week. Oops. Sorry, I have my other computer volume on. I have Parrot with me here today, or Nathaniel. He goes by both. I just asked. And this is going to be such an awesome stream. Before we started, I was just telling him how I found his work and how I saw it on Super Rare, and I was like, holy shit, this is so cool. And I loved the meaning that I got behind it just from my own perspective. So I can't wait to talk about sort of the meaning that you found behind all of your art pieces and what was intended and how you create and just how you work. So I'm excited to have you on. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Of course. We're just gonna wait another like minute or two and let everyone hop into Twitch.
Cool. Yeah.
Um, awesome. I already see some people coming in, and then also pop in the chat if you like. These streams I always want to keep super fun and super lively in the chat. And if you guys ever have questions along the way as we're chatting, pop them in, and I always read the comments out loud so you know what people are saying too. Um, so definitely do that. But this is kind of interesting. I normally have my streams on Thursday nights, and tonight we're doing it on a Wednesday.
Ooh, day
Um,
early.
yeah, which is kind of fun and kind of nice. And it's always interesting to try different times and days to see what works for people. But um, so what do you? I saw you were drinking a drink. What are you drinking tonight?
Some kind of juice and some cheap tequila
Nice.
that
I
I
love
bought.
tequila.
I bought the tequila on Cinco de Mayo this
Okay.
year, and I just finished it off for this drink right now.
Nice, nice. Wow, that lasted a long time.
Dude, yeah, I haven't been doing much besides being in this room all summer.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. Sometimes I just have a drink at home just to be like, once in a while, to be like, it's a weekend. Like, I'm going out
Mm-hmm.
tonight, even though I'm not actually going
Yep.
out.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's kind of fun.
It is
Um,
fun.
awesome. Some people are popping in here. So cool. I will just get started with couple questions. You told me off stream, but I like to ask this question because sometimes it's just so interesting. Where does your name, like Parrotism, come from?
Parrot, Parrott, is my last name. Um, and I do music as well. And for my music, I just go by Parrot.
Okay.
And I wanted to kind of like separate the art and the music a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I just put ism at the end of it.
Nice.
I
That
kind of like it's like each artwork's like a parrotism. It's like part of the parrot creative collective.
yeah, I like that. It's nice because it like you said, it differentiates it, but it's also obviously it's still so you because Parrot is your last name, which I didn't know that. I thought it was totally like some reason why you like connected with the animal. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Um, so that's kind of funny, but that's really cool. So how long have you said you also do music. So how long have you been creating music and then how long have you been creating like visual art?
I've been creating music for probably like close, almost 14 years now.
Wow. That's
Um,
crazy.
when I was like 11, I really wanted to do music and like create music, and I was really into hip hop. And so my mom, one of her friends, made hip hop beats, and like she got me to do some lessons with him to like learn how to make hip hop beats. And so yeah, it was just something I kind of stuck with and pursued as I got older. And did more like electronic music. Did some like small regional tours and like festivals and stuff like that.
Cool.
And yeah, I like my main identity is a musician for the most part. Like that's how
Wow.
I see myself. But I started doing digital art because I had a track on SoundCloud that I was getting like 200 plays for my tracks, and then one of them got like 30,000 plays. And I was just finding like I was like 15 and finding cool art on the
That's
internet
so
and putting
cool.
it as like the album art. And then once I got like so many plays, I was like, I can't just take like some random person's art and slap it on here if it's
Right.
like, it's kind of disingenuous. people should be paid for that.
Yeah.
So I started, hitting up people, artists to make art for me, and it's really expensive, especially when you're a musician and like an artist yourself.
Totally.
So I decided I'd start trying to make my own cover art and stuff like that, like Photoshop and eventually Cinema 4D.
Wow.
And people seem to like it. So I was like, okay, maybe like this could be like another income revenue that's still really creative. And so I
Right.
started doing album art for a lot of like the musicians that I networked with and were in my community. Um, yeah, so that's pretty much what I was doing. That was about 3.5 years ago. I started doing art.
That's so cool. Such a cool, like, sorry, I'm just moving around something really quick. Such a cool path that you were creating music, which is already so creative, and like you clearly have so much talent. You've been doing that for so long, and then you're like, oh, I need album art for my music, so let me just really quick become an amazing artist so I can create my own album work. Like that's really awesome because you already have such a creative brain. You know what I mean? And then you're just applying that to different things, which I love that about creative people. Like I hear so many stories about people just like teaching themselves something that they need to learn, you know? And that's sort of
Yeah.
what you did. And I mean, those aren't easy things to learn. So I'm sure that probably took you a while to sort of like get something you really loved, or do you feel like you like picked things up really fast?
Um, I go through phases of being like nothing I've ever created is worth anything, and it's not cool at all. To being
Mm.
like, wow, my work's the shit, and
Yeah,
like I'll go like back and forth between those like two headspaces. Sometimes, uh, I don't
we
know.
all do.
Yeah, I think that's just the mind state of an artist. Uh, yeah, I think it was probably about a year and a half ago where I started like looking at my stuff and comparing it to some of the people I looked up to and started to see like the quality being somewhat similar.
Okay.
And I think a lot of that is I did an everyday series, like
Oh,
people does every
yeah.
days for like 13 or 14 years now or whatever.
Something
He
insane.
he inspired me to do that, and I did that for 365 days
Wow.
with 3D art.
No
And
way.
yeah, it
That's
was
really difficult.
yeah. There's like some days I'd spend 8 hours doing that, and then some days I'd spend like a half hour doing it if I
Yeah.
was busy doing something. Um, but it was definitely like probably the best thing I could have done for myself and my skill
Yeah.
set.
That
And
takes
after like
discipline.
yeah, I'm not really the most disciplined person either, I don't think.
I'm
But
not. I know
yeah,
I'm not.
yeah, like I was just posting it online to like Facebook every day, and people eventually were like, expecting it, looking forward to
Mm-hmm.
it. And at that point, I had kind of like not just a commitment to myself, but I feel like I would have like let other people down if I didn't make
Right.
the full year. That's kind of
Yeah.
what I'm doing a little bit too.
And didn't it feel so freaking good on day 365? Like, fuck, I made that many pieces. Like, that's insane. And you
Yeah,
could take a break and
yeah.
not
I took
actually do one the
like
next
a
day.
month off.
Yeah, yeah, seriously. I'm not surprised not longer. So, do you think that that was like your biggest like growth as far as like visual art? That was your biggest growth that time?
Yeah, 100%. Something about like uh starting and completing a piece over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
It's different than like, maybe working the same amount of hours but on half as many pieces throughout the year or a quarter as
Right.
many pieces. Like something about the like cycle of starting something, completing something, and having that happen pretty fast. Like it's like it like hacks your workflow because it's just like everything starts becoming muscle memory after a little
Yeah.
while. So like throughout the whole process, and like by the end of it, I was like, I think the one you bought probably took me like 4 hours or something.
I
That's definitely
love
something
that
like
piece.
that was probably one of my favorites of the whole series. But
Such a
just
cool
like uh,
piece.
just like yeah, like it's like a way to hack your brain and you just have to, like, if you just do something every day, then it just becomes a habit, you know.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, it becomes pretty easy. I've been trying to do that again with digital painting
Mm-hmm.
because I really like digital painting, and I like the look at paintings probably more than I like the look at 3D art for the most part. I feel like there's more
Definitely has a
emotion.
different vibe. Yeah.
Yeah.
With your paintings, do you create like the 3D art variation of it and then paint from that? Or does it depend on
Uh,
the piece? Like with my piece, for example.
that one's almost all 3D,
Okay.
and then there was like some painting over it a little bit in
Yeah.
Photoshop and some stuff like that. Yeah, even when I do just like plain 3D stuff, I always try to give it like a painted kind of feel.
Yeah.
I
It's
just like
really
that look a
cool.
lot. Yeah, I like that look a lot. But yeah, I want to get good at just painting digitally, and I started with 3D art, so I never like learned perspective and values and shading because 3D does all that stuff for you.
Right.
Like the program does. You don't have to think about like, is this shadow the right value compared to the rest of the scene? Like it's all
Right.
calculated, and
That's
so
so
I'm like,
true. Yeah, I never
yeah,
thought about it that way. It is sort of like learning something that in my mind at least seems so much harder and then working backwards, like trying to get back down to the basics, which is kind of cool. Like and
mm-hmm.
imagine once feel like you've reached a really good level at digital painting, you're like, okay, let's pull out an actual canvas and try to paint it.
Right,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah. I
That's
just
kind of
painted.
funny.
I just painted on canvas for the first time in like probably since like high school or something the other
Mhm.
week. And it was a lot of fun, but I was like, it's so different. I'm just like so used to being able to like undo mistakes.
Yeah.
So
But
I
that's
think
kind
I
of
think
also the fun of painting. I mean, you can sort of undo by painting over, or depending on what you're painting with, you can like kind of undo what you did. But yeah, that's sort of the fun of it, and also like gives you a little bit more like frustration with yourself, but at the same time, you start to like trust yourself a little bit more, and you're like, you know what? I feel like maybe that looks good, and you sort of like
yeah,
work with different things, you know.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
weird though.
I think I'm
Um,
slowly getting that.
yeah. Oh, cool. Easy said he thinks he's getting a tablet with a pencil so he can start branching out more into my digital art. That'd be awesome. Easy does some
Yes.
pretty cool photography, so I think mixing your photography with the drawing would be awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
and that's awesome.
Thanks for the follow, Harv MCMM. Foch just said, OMFG, do it. Even a used one. Getting one changed my life. Oh, yeah, for the tablet. No,
I bet
totally.
it did.
Yeah, especially for you, Felicius. I feel like you just always are like working on something, like always on something, and I love it. It's so cool. Um, so yeah, I asked you before the stream, but I'd love to just talk about it on the stream of
Mhm.
how you sort of got introduced to the NFT space and super rare, and what sort of that transition was like for you. And then after that, I guess like how do you like it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, do you enjoy it? Has it changed anything for you, like in any way, not even just monetarily, but the community or anything like that?
Yes. So yeah, I found out about it. Like I said, I was doing a lot of like album art for musicians, and this producer named Frequent hit me up, and he's like, in my mind, like one of like my top 10 just like most technically advanced like music producers out there. He's so good, and he hit me up and was like, "Hey, I really like your 3D art. I'm trying to learn how to do 3D art too." And I was like, "Awesome! I'll like ask any questions." And he was like, "Would you be down to trade production tips for like 3D art tips and stuff like that?" And I was like,
That's
"Yep."
cool.
So we were talking a little bit, and I think he's friends with Glass Crane.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not sure when Glass Crane joined Super Rare, but definitely a few months before me in
Yeah.
June. And so, yeah, Frequent told me about how Glass Crane was like making pretty good money selling digital art, digital crypto art. And I was
Hmm.
like, huh, okay. first of all, Glass Crane's like a god when it comes to 3D, so I'm not
Oh
surprised.
yeah.
Like, like I'm sure he's making good money. Uh, and I went and checked out Super Rare, and that was my introduction to crypto art as a whole. I was aware of cryptocurrency and like Ethereum, some altcoins and stuff. I never really put my money in them because I didn't feel like I understood enough to do that.
Yeah.
But I had pretty good close friends that are really into crypto, so I had like a little understanding of it. And but the crypto art thing, it was really confusing at first, and I was like, I guess I get it, and I was like, all right, and I started uploading art on there, um, and yeah, it was great. My first piece of art sold for $30, and I was so excited because it's art that I make anyways.
Right.
It's like it doesn't matter what the external world's going on. This art is gonna happen, and I'm gonna be making it. And so
Yeah.
just like an extra $30
Like
for
sure.
some
Yeah.
art, I was like, that's like I make art all the time. That could pay for some, my dinner every night or something like that.
Yeah.
And then the Druid collector on Super Rare hit me up and was like, $30 is way too cheap. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Uh,
You're like,
and
okay, do you want to buy something for more expensive? Like, let me know.
which he did. He bought
Yeah.
he bought some for an undisclosed price.
Yes.
But actually, you were the first person I think that ever bought my art for like I think you bought it for like 1 Ethereum. And
Yep. One
yep, and
Ethereum.
that was the first time. I think before that I was getting like zero point 0.2
Mm-hmm.
Ethereum or something like that. And just to see it jump to like 1 Ethereum, I was like, whoa, that's more than I would make for like what I'm charging for client art. Like if someone hit me up
Yeah.
personally to, uh, oh, that's my phone. Like, if someone hit me up personally to like do some album art for something, I usually charge like $50 an hour, or I did. And
Right.
usually, like on a good client art, I'd get like $300. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy that like already this thing is like surpassing what I've been hustling and networking and working towards this whole time, which was working with musicians for album covers. But yeah, it definitely changed my life in so many ways. I
Yeah.
feel like obviously monetarily, especially during a pandemic, it like helped so much. Uh, and just like confidence wise and like self love wise, like
Mm.
I know it shouldn't take like external validation to like confirm this,
But
but like
sometimes it does. Yeah.
sometimes it
Sometimes
does.
it does. And that's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Dude,
it's okay.
that's cool. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm really happy that I didn't know that I was one of the first people to bid an ETH on your work, because your work is, I mean, obviously worth even more than that. And I kind of felt like I had just discovered your work and I fell in love with the piece, and I was like, I'm gonna give it a shot. This artist is super talented, and um, that makes me really happy because your work is so sick, and to be able to give an artist, like, not give, but like help an artist like make those beginning sales is really important for both the artist and the community, and like the
Mm-hmm.
confidence to continue to put out more work like that. And like
Mm-hmm.
I said before the stream, and we could even show the piece that I have on here.
Yeah.
um oh no, Easy, do you think you could, I wonder if you could restart it, maybe. Easy lost audio. Everyone else has audio though, so I think so. I think it might just be you, Easy, which I'm sad about. um, but and he can't even hear what I'm saying right now. But the piece that I have by you is so cool. If you do you have it, or is it easy for you to pull up on the screen?
Yeah,
Let's see.
sure.
Um, that piece,
Mm-hmm.
when I saw it, here, we'll pull it up and we'll show you guys. It's such a cool piece. I was like, I need that. And I discovered you and Papa Bear all on the same day. Hey, Brookhawk.
Super loads so slowly for me sometimes.
Yeah, it does for me too. But yeah,
Totally.
before we knew better, and this piece, and then your thing, your description, everything in life is just for a while. Um, dude, I just love this piece. It's so cool. Like at first, I was telling Parrot that at first I just really noticed, like I looked at the car immediately and like the broken windows, but then there was like so much like almost like serenity and peacefulness with these trees that are like blooming or like just turned fall or whatever it is. And the grass, like I love the lighting on the floor. Like I feel like the lighting in this piece is literally everything. And then in the background, this like sort of like robot alien UFO droid, like whatever it is, I don't even know. But it's cool because it's like it's almost like maybe all human life in my own head, and then you could tell your meaning after this, but like it's almost like all human life is gone or like just evaporated, but the life on earth that is in the plants and like the nature is still like living on and blooming even in this weird world where like there aren't humans anymore, which I know sounds so weird, but that's like immediately when I saw this, I felt like I was like in the picture, like in a movie or something, that like this scene was happening. And the weird reality that the earth looks really peaceful right now, you know?
Uh-huh.
I don't know. That's sort of what the feeling I got, especially with the rays of sun. It just like seemed really peaceful, even though if if the lighting was different, this would have been a totally different piece to me, you know?
Right, right. Yeah. I think lighting is such a big factor. I think in a lot of my work is lighting.
Yeah.
That's what I try to focus on is like I'll spend, you know, 50% of the time setting everything up in like 3D, physically or like compositionally,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll spend like the other 50% of the time like figuring out how to place the trees and
Mm.
how the light's coming through and like what the fog is doing with like the light and stuff.
Yeah. No, I love that. Such a cool piece. So when you, I guess we can, if you want to show more, you can, or we can go back to our faces, whatever you prefer. But when you were creating this piece, like, what were you thinking about, and like, what did you intend for the viewer to see? Because I wonder if it lines up with what I just said, like what I saw with it. But of course, like art, that's the cool thing about art. People can like see whatever they want to see in it, right?
Yeah. This is gonna sound weird, but I don't really go into my art with like intention.
Oh,
Like,
cool. That's
it's usually like I'll start just like messing around with stuff, and then end up in a flow state, and then 5 hours later I have like a completed piece of work, and
that's
then I'm
cool.
usually left like trying to derive meaning from it too. And
That's
like I
awesome.
I think a lot of my art is just subconscious, and my music too, like the same thing. I don't really write songs about certain things.
Yeah.
I just kind of like turn my brain off and just write music or
Go.
create
Yeah.
art. And afterwards, sometimes like with some of my music, it will take me 6 months when I go back and listen to it and then I can like identify all the elements in it that like lined up with my headspace and my
Mm.
feelings about things at the time. I think your interpretation of this art is my interpretation too.
Cool. Even better. Not that I was expecting that, but that's cool.
Yeah, yeah, like and even the title, like the title I came up with afterwards,
Yeah.
and I feel like it kind of encompassed the vibe of the contrast between here I'll pull it up again since we're talking about it.
Yeah. It's a
the
cool
contrast
piece. I like
the
looking at
contrast
it.
between the nature and the like little sci-fi tinge, and then like the serenity but the broken glass. Like
Right.
I try to do a lot of opposites and dualities in my work.
Totally.
I feel like a lot of really cool stuff is in that gray or in that contrast between those two ends.
Yeah. GT and Death himself said something. Both were saying that that's sort of the way to go, freestyling it. Um, oh yeah, and
Yeah.
Matt Kane said, "Gorgeous. I can smell the air looking at this." I totally agree. You feel like you're there. which is so amazing. And there's not all art pieces I feel that way about. You know what I mean? Um,
All art
especially
pieces of mine I feel that way about for sure.
you said not all of them or all of
Not
them.
all of them, like of mine too. Like some of them,
Yeah.
I,
Be-
I have an attachment to that one that you have that one
Oh, good to
talking about.
know. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not. I
that's
it was at one point, people were DMing me about it, and so I decided, okay, I'll put a list price on it, but I'm not gonna put anything like I'm gonna put something high. You know what I mean? So if they get it, I'm like, okay. But then I was like, you know what? And I took the list price off, and I was like, I'm too attached to this piece. I'm not selling it. Like it's such a cool piece. Like I was like, I don't even know why I put it up with a list price, even though I like was hoping it wouldn't sell. I'm like, what am I doing? Because I've never resold an NFT ever, like on secondary markets, literally ever. So I'm like, why am I even like trying to do this? Like, this is not what I want to do. So I just took it off. And I'm glad I took it off before the stream so none of you could snipe it. Um, but yeah, no, it's totally a beauty. Someone just said in the comments. If you want to show some of your other art, we could talk about that too, and we can just keep chatting while we look through because it's kind of fun.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll share what's on my super rare.
yeah, there's a few pieces that I've been like, holy shit, I need to get that. And then I was
Ew.
too slow. Oh, you
Let's
froze
start
a
with the
little.
top.
Sorry.
Am I back? Are we good?
Yeah, you're back. You're back.
Okay, cool. Um,
Oh, by the way, while we're chatting about this, your speed drawings that you're like posting today and yesterday, I'm like, what the heck? Like, that is so cool. Your speed paintings, they look awesome.
Thank you. It's like the same idea as the everydays. I'm just trying.
Yeah.
I'm not committed to doing them every day. So,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to do them as much as possible because and do the speed stuff because worked for the 3D art for like me to get to a certain level, and digital painting is just something I really want to like know how to do. Like the problem with
Yeah.
3D art is like if I want to like if I see something in my head and want to put it in 3D art, a lot of the times there's like technical pipelines and workflows I have to go to, like maybe find a 3D model of what I'm thinking of in my head. And if that doesn't exist, I have to like figure out how to sculpt it or build it inside the program, which is not as intuitive as it sounds.
Oh, I'm sure.
And yeah, the thing with like digital painting is like what excites me about it is, it's like there's so much less technical and programmed um, stuff going on, and it's just like such a pure transition from the mind to the canvas.
Yeah.
And I have a desire to do that, and I look at so much artwork, especially lately, that's so good. And I want my digital paintings to get to what I see in my head. So I'm just trying to do them as much as possible. And from the 3D stuff, I've learned that the fastest way, at least for me, to get better at something is
Mm-hmm.
doing it as often as possible. That like full cycle
Oh,
from start to finish.
absolutely. Oh, absolutely. That's definitely the way to do it. And I love
Yep.
these mix of like fully animated like 3D to something like this where it is so much more of a painted feel.
Yeah, that's my. I feel like you ever go on Instagram and like see someone's profile and it just looks like every post just looks perfect, like it's all like the same like color scheme, or like some artists like
Sure.
all their work, and like I envy that a little bit with artists
Why? I don't think you
that
should
I don't know.
envy that. Maybe it's
I don't
just
know.
me, but I think it's like so like with my art, like I have no rhyme or reason, like whatever I'm just feeling in that moment and whatever I think is cool, I just do. I think that's
Yeah,
like but like the cool thing about it is like yeah, your work you have the different look and feel, but they all look like they're made by one artist. They don't look like you, I mean,
right.
which would be fine if they didn't in my opinion, but they
Yeah,
all look like they're made by one artist. And I think
yeah.
it's really cool to have a mix of different things because people connect with different sorts of styles, you know?
That's really true. Yeah, I think a lot of my life, even in the music business and well. I like sacrificed a lot of like my true self or my true art for the idea of branding or
Mm.
like what's marketable or
Mm-hmm.
like what's what's going to get this person's interests that like I want to network with or something like that. And I've been trying to run away from that mindset as much as
Yeah.
possible lately.
Just let your art sort of speak for itself and basically let your art tell you what to do. Oh yeah, the inspection. Wait, scroll up 1 second. Sorry. I really wanted that piece. I missed that piece. I was
No,
like,
I said like
damn.
you did
No,
you
no,
did.
and then I don't know what happened. I think they sniped me, didn't they?
They sniped you in like with like 5 minutes on that 24-hour
And I
timer.
didn't, and I was away from my computer, and I was like, shit. I love this piece. This was
I
a
felt
cool
so
piece.
bad too because
Oh,
I was
don't feel
like,
bad. That's cool. You know what I mean? Like someone snipe. Like, how cool is that? That someone was like sniping to get this piece.
that's
That's
true.
epic.
That is
Um,
epic, I guess. Yeah.
like, oh, and no hard feelings at all. I'm proud of that person. Like, good for you. I'll probably buy it from him one day. Um, but yeah, Death himself. When you were saying that, I think it is Death himself. Am I saying that, or since there's not a second H, is it Deet himself? I think it's Death, but said that they tried doing that on Instagram and it lasted a month or two, trying to like match all the same like color
Oh,
stories and everything like that. Yeah, you just gotta go with it, you know.
yeah. I feel like
Um,
all that stuff ends up taking away from the art at some point.
yeah, no, I
It's
agree.
tough. It's tough though. Like just like how I go from like my art shit to my art stuff shit, that like
Mm-hmm.
mindset. I also go from like fuck it, I'm just putting everything out there to like maybe I should stand back and be a little bit more methodic with my releases. But at the end of the day, I'll just make art.
Yeah, and do what you feel, you know what I mean? Like do what feels right. So with
Hmm.
your these earlier pieces that you're showing, are there your those like the ones that are on the screen right now, are these more of like album cover designs?
Mm, yeah, kinda.
Or I
This
didn't know if that was like initially what when you were speaking about like doing album art, is that like something that would lean more towards that than what you were doing with like
I don't know. A lot of times with like when I was doing album art, luckily I've been able to uh, close my commissions for now, because I
yeah.
mean I have like a love hate relationship with commissions.
Oh yeah.
Part of it's like I'm so glad that someone values my work enough to pay me, and that they like trust my artistic vision to like represent whatever they're presenting. But at the end of the day, it like I just want to make art that I want to make.
Yeah.
I like I do art because I don't want a boss. I don't want someone telling me what to do.
Yes.
And like
You can repeat
I've had
that.
some really amazing clients before that I was like, if every client was like this would be the dream job. But I've had
Mm.
some nightmare clients where it just makes the whole thing like a little unbearable sometimes.
Oh yeah. It's hard when you work in such a personal like creative field like this where you're giving like a piece of yourself, to each
Yeah.
artwork and then to have, the restraints or guidelines by someone else, which are totally fine sometimes, but it is hard to like have your full creative freedom. The path to Valhalla is also, I don't know, that's such an amazing, it's a really beautiful piece. I love the lighting that you do in these.
Thanks. Yep, this is one that the druid got early on.
Nice. That's
He
awesome.
actually he started a conversation with me and was like, I think I had, let's see, I probably had some of these pieces up, these like five or whatever right here.
Mm-hmm.
When I applied to Super Rare, I was doing this like more pop art style,
Yeah.
which is actually still 3D. This is like a pure 3D render right here.
Oh, really? So it's just the lighting that makes it look like that?
Yeah, it's called a tune shader. So it outlines the 3D model, and then you set colors in a gradient based on the lighting. So you get these like
Interesting.
really cool, like where these, this would maybe be a darker color orange, and you can like mess with the gradient to get some really cool patterns. I thought that was really cool at first, so I was like, I'm just gonna do this forever. And so I played a super rare with like all of these pieces, and then I was like, maybe I'll start doing some regular 3D stuff again. And then the druid hit me up and found my Instagram and was like, I really like some like 10 or something pieces. I was like, I really like these pieces. I was like, all right, I like 3 of those. And we set up like a deal where I'd upload them, transfer them to him for a undisclosed price.
Cool.
And
And
yeah,
that sort of like thing when that happens early and there's a supporter who wants to like get behind your work and support you, and also they're like, I want like to sort of cherry pick some pieces, like if that helps you and them at the same time and it makes
yeah,
sense, then that's awesome.
yeah. I mean, not giving away the price I gave these to him for, but he's definitely
A
10x
happy
and plus
camper. Yeah. He's a happy camper, which is
yeah.
awesome.
But
Um,
yeah, he gave me so much advice at first that it's so worth it.
oh, absolutely. And you have a long time, collector and patron, which is amazing.
Um,
So do you feel like you have an overall, like, are there certain styles that you prefer to do? Like when you're launching a piece, do you feel like it's fitting a certain storyline, like, or theme, or um, anything like that? Or is it truly just whatever you're like feeling that day? You know what I mean?
I'll get into like little pockets of inspiration that will
Mm-hmm.
last a few weeks usually. So like with like these 3 right here, this one, where it's like almost like a comic book cover,
Yeah,
like some like text, some Latin and barcodes on it. I was like, that's a cool idea. um,
it
so
is.
I did like 3 of those, and Gaboosh picked up all 3 of them. I was like
I
trying to be
love
like,
Gabby.
I feel like these will be like, a 3 part in a
A
series that
good
if one
set.
collector picked
Yeah,
them up, it would be kind of cool.
totally.
And
And that's what
made that
happened.
happen. Yep. So yeah, this is all that kind of theme or series or whatever. But I got bored of it after a little bit, and then I did this one. This was like my first big sale from Mood Rats,
Mm-hmm.
where I think my previous biggest sale was 1 Ethereum, which was your piece, and
Mm-hmm.
then he came through with like a 4.5 Ethereum bid on this one.
That's awesome.
And I was like, what?
You're like, sure. Oh, such a beautiful piece.
I do really like this piece. Yeah, it's nice. It's interesting, like what I personally like to what the public responds to. Like,
Yeah.
if the public responds to something really well, I know it's gonna get better bids on super rare for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but this isn't necessarily like my favorite piece ever,
Right.
but a lot of people's I've talked like people have hit me up about this piece in specific a bunch of times, which is crazy. Um,
Really.
so
What
yeah,
do you
and
feel
so
like do you feel like you have a favorite piece? It's kind of like picking a child. It's pretty hard, but some people can pick their kids pretty easily, so I don't know.
yeah, some people can. I don't know, honestly. It changes.
That's fair.
Like right now, out of what we're looking at right here, which is I guess all my favorites since I've chose the mint thumb.
Right.
Probably this one. This was one of my favorites I've done recently. If it loads, guess it loaded on the other page. Yeah, this center one right here in the
Yeah,
middle.
that's really cool one. What is all this texture on the actual like person? Let's see if it'll load. I saw another vision I saw. Habitations and resting places of saints. Oh, that's really cool. I love these descriptions that you're giving these.
There we go.
Wow.
Yeah, I like this is one of my favorites. Maybe because like the big eye, like
Yeah.
almost like I don't know. In my mind, when I look at it, it makes me feel calm and
Mm-hmm.
almost like a guardian angel motherly love kind of way, and then also a little bit taken aback in like an alien kind of foreign way. I don't know.
Right. No, I could totally see that. I love the texture that you've put on her and sort of these, even these like, it almost looks like ice sheet or like salt sheets like sticking out of her skin, like salt
Yeah,
scales or something.
yeah.
It's really
That's
cool.
yeah, it's like I said with the pockets of inspiration, like with this one with the crystals, and then this one
Yeah.
also in the middle with the crystals. Kind of got into a pocket of inspiration with crystals there. This last one, Catharsis, also did some crystal stuff, but that was like, oh no, I guess there's one more. This had a little crystal
Mm-hmm.
material on it, but yeah, sometimes I'll discover a new technique, or in this case it was like this crystal material that like I worked out and people seem to respond to it really well, and it looked pretty realistic, so I wanted to kind of repeat that a little bit in some of these pieces. And then yeah, I was doing like a lot of human portraits and
Mm-hmm.
like humanoid figures.
I also
um
love how you have like similar throughout your artworks is beautiful because there are certain things that even if the piece is completely different that sort of connect, like Daymaker, and the other one that you just showed that's your favorite have this big eye, and then also the one that I loved that I tried to bid on but I didn't get, that
mm-hmm.
with the, yeah,
Guy.
that one also has the big eye. So it's cool that like even though those pieces are totally different, like have totally different meanings, it's really interesting to see sort of how your mind is working and combining these different sort of aspects within each other, which I think is really
Right.
beautifully done. And even like the texture on the skin and stuff, you even have that throughout on many of them. Even
Mm-hmm.
self
A lot of like
reflection.
it's like broken patterns and stuff.
Yeah.
I really like this one a lot too. This one's a collaboration with my buddy Nicholas Love,
Mm-hmm.
who's a very skilled 3D artist. Um, super rare. So it take this long to load for you too on super rare.
It does take a long time for me to load. Also known origin, but I think because they like, I don't know what they do. They show like everything in the highest resolution possible. It takes
Mm-hmm.
forever for it to load for me. So same here.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, that one is beautiful with all of the code and everything, or whatever the
yeah.
script is around her.
That was Love Visuals doing all of that stuff. I sent him a pretty half-assed project, honestly, and then he sent it back, and I was like, yes, and then finished it up.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. So I'd love to know like where you like, I guess right now, what are you feeling inspired by? And have you thought about, or do you already, but have you thought about really combining your passions of like audio art, how you do music, music with these pieces in some way?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out.
Okay.
It's like I said, like I still it's changing more this year, but still like view myself primarily as a musician, and and so I'm like I gotta like figure out some way to fit that puzzle piece into this,
Mm-hmm.
because I mean I know there's gonna be NFT music at some point just as a standalone. I think we see like Blau and RAC, I think.
Yep.
Some musicians coming here and collabing with 3D artists and different designers to create like an art music NFT, which I think is awesome. I think at
Yeah.
some point there's just going to be music by itself on the blockchain a little bit more, doing its own thing. Like here, it's like we figured out a way to get music into an art gallery, but there's gonna be like a music gallery or a record label or something that's just like I think Audius is doing it a little bit, but there's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be something. So yeah, like with these animations, I've been putting some music on. Oh, it's not loading well.
Cool.
Yeah, it's buffering a lot, but
That's fine. Your computer's probably doing a lot because you're on the call too. Let's see if
there we
it'll.
go. So yeah, there's just some music in there that I've written. That's like a completed song I already have done
Uh huh.
that I edited the video to. It doesn't feel quite as organic as it could be, I think. This one I did the video first and then put the music over it. I don't know if you guys can hear the music in the screen share or not.
Yeah, I can hear it.
And that one's like a different style. I don't really do orchestral music that much, but I felt like it
It's
fit
really
there. Like,
cool. Yeah.
but I'm still pretty new to animations. Like, something like this that's just one frame. It's like I can do it in 3D, take it into Photoshop, and like
Mm-hmm.
touch it up, and like paint over it, and like put some space as the background, and do like a bunch of post work in Photoshop. And with the animations, it's like 24 frames per second of
Yeah.
footage, and I'm
Totally.
not painting over hundreds of frames right now.
No, that'd be insane. That'd be insane.
So I feel like there's like a quality difference of between the animations and the stills. I don't know if having something move justifies it being, at least in my mind, less quality. So I don't know what my future is with animations.
It's so. Oh, is that? That's weird. I don't know if that's on. I don't know
Oh,
why
that's
that
weird
popped up.
too.
Um, that's not true because you can do Zoom with two people for as long as you want. Sorry. Um, that it's interesting because I think it totally gives a different like meaning to it or adds or meaning to it when they move that you don't necessarily get when they're 2D. But I think they both are just like cool for different reasons. There's not necessarily like I'm really drawn to the 3D or really drawn to the 2D over each other. I think you have to like sort of take each piece as what it is and find the meaning in it,
Mm,
and go from there. Because really, those flowers blooming, like in that one in the second row, is really beautiful. And I love the way they just like bloom and start glowing. Like it's
right.
very cool. So that definitely, I don't think that that makes it less quality because it's moving because you can't like add all these details you want. I think it's just a different
Right.
type of process and a different, type of artwork that you're releasing. But I think it's all really beautiful.
Thank you.
Of course. So I guess I would love to hear about, it's really awesome to hear that you're going to make more music NFTs. And Easy even popped in the chat saying, yes, more art slash music NFTs. Music NFTs are getting uh, ready to see some growth for sure. Oh, yeah. And Agrocat said, Akasha is luscious. I
Thank
totally agree. Um, which is just yeah, no, it's a very cool combination. I think the interesting thought I have, and I guess it's really hard to tell the future, like when people ask me like what I think I'm going to be doing in a few years, and I'm like art, and they're like, yeah, but more specific, and I'm like, I don't know. But are you playing with anything now that you're really excited about, like new technologies or trying to try out new things that you haven't already learned or haven't already showed your audiences?
I did get an Oculus Rift,
Nice.
so I am mostly just flying around Google Earth VR lately and like
Okay.
checking cool landmarks in the world. But I got medium tilt brush quill, and I think like a really cool long term goal. I don't know the exact path to get there, but I'd love to like create a world like I do in one of these stills, but be
Mm-hmm.
able to like look around in it, have it be 360
Yeah.
where you're like can like stop and like I want to look at this tree, now I want to look at this character, now I want to look at this, sky or whatever.
That would be really cool. Yeah, no, I
I
love that idea. And I'm also thinking about VR worlds. You can build out these scenes in different VR worlds. That would be really epic.
Yeah, yeah, VR really blew my mind when I just tried it for the first time when I got this like 2 weeks ago. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, whoa, holy shit.
Yeah.
You feel your brain like doing shit when you put it on. You're like after a while you're just like so immersed in it.
Yeah.
Your brain like like there's this game I have where you're like looking out this like broken skyscraper at the city below you and you're like 30 stories up
Oh
and it's
gosh.
drops a little bit and your brain's like bad bad bad.
Right,
Like,
right,
logically you know that you're just staying in your room, but
right.
all these like gut responses to that visual stimulus,
How crazy is that? Yeah.
so crazy. And so I want to like figure out how to like create art that does that kind of stuff to you where
Mm.
it triggers like these like primordial responses that,
Yeah. I love
that
that.
a still image or even a moving image or even a movie or like just like I think the future of art is going to be so immersive.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I love that. That's really cool that you got a Rift, so you are starting to explore that kind of realm. If you guys in the chat have specific questions you want to ask Parrot, definitely pop them in so I can ask those. I do want there's these questions I do near the end that I want to ask you, but before that, I also want to ask if you have anything in particular coming up that we should look out for, or should we just keep up to date with your super rare and your Twitter and everything like that?
Yeah, Twitter is definitely going to be where I'm most active. I'll be doing some videos, um, video updates, which I've been trying to do to be more present in the community.
Yeah.
So Twitter for sure. Me and Merkpin, Merkpin, have you
I
seen
don't
her
know.
art? I'll see if I can pull it up on here. We're in the Gen Z together.
Merkin.
Here's I'm not screen sharing. Oop, there we go. This is her stuff right here.
Okay. Yeah, I think I have seen it.
Yeah. And then so we've been talking about doing some kind of collective or something like that, where
Oh, cool.
and talking. I think with the Gen Z group here, I'll plug our collab really quick.
Yeah,
This is
please do.
collaboration between 11 people: Ferocious, Jonathan Wolf, Merkpin, Black Sneakers, Mushba, Harvey,
Holy crap.
uh, Keto, Betty Bona, Femzar, Eddie and Kraus, and me. So
Oh
it's a
my
lot of
gosh,
people.
that's so cool.
And so Super Rare kind of like got us all in a group for this gallery we did last weekend, and we were all like, "Hey, let's collab with each other." Um, and I think we formed a really cool like friendship between all of us
Yeah.
out of it because all of us are relatively young in the crypto space. I think most of us were this is our like introduction to the whole crypto space, like
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin, Ethereum, everything for the most part.
Yeah.
But we all like bonded a lot throughout the past month or two. We've been working on this in the gallery, so we've all been talking about uh, one-off collaborations between us
Mm-hmm.
and really just trying to like kind of stick together as a group and look out for each other and help each other and release art together.
I love
So
that. That's
yeah,
so amazing to have like a crew that, can tell you guys like, "Hey, I saw this cool thing over here to try out," or like, "This was really awesome when I did this." Like, what an awesome like this community is already so amazing and something like I've never experienced before. But then to go the added, mile and just have this this base, like this community, that this group that you feel connected with. That's so amazing. And I mean, you guys already have a 30 ETH bid on this, which is pretty sick. So congrats
So
already. We'll see how high it'll get, but that's epic.
yeah, it's super exciting. I'm honestly really just like humbled to be working with all these artists. I think everyone in here by themselves has such unique and awesome work.
Mm,
You got Ferocious's piece right down here.
yeah.
You can tell their style right away in here.
Oh, absolutely.
Jonathan Wolf, Black Sneakers, Eddie and Kraus over here, Merkin, me right here in the middle, the pink
Yep.
circle around it. Um, yeah, I feel like everyone kind of brought their own style. I think I've walked in collabs with almost everyone in here as a one-off collab at some point. We discussed like let's
Yeah.
get to do a collab at some point, and I know a bunch of I can only speak for myself, but I think a bunch of other collabs are happening in this space as well between these
That's
artists right now.
amazing. How
So
cool. And you also get to play off of each other and each other's like strengths and combine so many different styles. Like it's just crazy. It's crazy to think about. Like someone can have completely opposite styles but still make a cohesive, beautiful piece and still have so much meaning behind it and like put so much passion into one work. And it's even
yeah,
cooler because you can just, it's so much easier to do that nowadays digitally. Like this piece is probably
right.
made from people all around the world and you can
They're
still,
Europe,
yeah, place
South
it all together.
America.
What'd you say? Sorry.
Europe, South America,
Yeah,
America
that's
part
so
of
epic.
yeah. It's I think collaboration is such a cool thing that's happening now. I've never before cryptic art collaborated with any artists like in the visual space. Um, just
Oh,
because I didn't really
sorry,
know
one second.
how.
I
Oh
feel
yeah.
like I just, oh my god, is this serious? It says your browser encountered an error. Hmm.